Okay, it's been about 2 days since we pulled the water pump and cooling system components off of the Mustang. Today, my objective is to get the new water pump installed, and if I'm up to it, installing the new cooling system components also. Otherwise, I'll do those a little later. One of the things we did that is really exciting is between the day we tore this down and today we installed an air conditioning system to help keep the garage cool in the middle of summer. I didn't know it was going to be that important until Tim, Joe, Lynda and I sweat our tails off the other day with the first effort pulling this thing down. And it wasn't that hard of work. It was just humid and warm outside and in the garage. So we fixed that. Now, before we went on video today, I tried to arrange some tools in some kind of logical area, so I had what I needed where I needed it as I moved forward. I got some of the parts together. I haven't tried to line up the mounting brackets for the alternator and the power steering pump yet. That's going to be fun because I was there when Tim was tearing it down, but I wasn't looking carefully like he and Joe were, and they're both gone. But I'll figure it out. So, one of my next steps is to prepare to install the water pump. Part of that preparation will involve getting this old crud off of the upper radiator hose and the bypass hose connectors. Now that's just sitting there from 47 years worth of hoses being connected there. Nothing else going on. I don't think it's leakage. I just think it's old sealer from the factory that was used when they assembled this. I'm not sure. But whatever it is, I want it gone. I want to have fairly clean and smooth surfaces for the new radiator and bypass hoses to bite. It just takes a bit of effort with sandpaper, a little time. I'm not going to bore folks too badly, I hope, on the video with this, so I'll ask Lynda to cut this video short after I get a little bit of this out of the way.
A question, do you need to worry about stuff falling into that hole?
No. Technically, we don't want anything going inside this radiator hose here, the outlet. This pushes coolant into the radiator. I'm not too worried about a little tiny bit of debris, of small stuff, but Lynda makes a good point. After I'm done sanding this off, I'm going to go ahead and pull out where I can, get this clean as possible, because I don't want a lot of crud inside the new radiator we'll be installing. It won't be enough to hurt anything, but none is better than a little bit. A little bit is not going to kill anything or anybody. But she makes, like I said, a good point. I put the new water pump in place, hanging temporarily by one of the old bolts, simply to line up the bypass hose from the thermostat cover to the bypass hose outlet or inlet, if you will, in the water pump, just so I can pre-assemble that to some degree, so when I put the water pump in place, I'm not having to fight to get this tiny little hose inside between these two nipples. One will be in place and be ready to slide into the other one. It'll be a lot easier doing it that way than trying to put it all together after I have the water pump bolted down. Okay, back to sanding. I'm not trying to get away with delaying this. It's got to get done. And there's no easy way to do this. Luckily, this residue is very chalky and soft and comes off very easily. That's the good news. The bad news is it's very soft and easy to get off, which means if I have any left over, an undue amount, is going to cause problems in the seal with the new radiator hose and bypass hose. That's what I'm trying to avoid, is having problems with that seal.
A nicer piece of sandpaper.
Lynda is going to get me another nicer piece of sandpaper. This one's almost used up. Okay, I've done some sanding on the radiator outlet and bypass hose nipples on the thermostat cover. And if you look carefully, as Lynda moves this around, you see there's still quite a bit of scaling that simply is not coming off like I would like it to. And between the bypass hose and the radiator outlet, there's not very much room. And there's some areas in there I just cannot get to and effectively get that scale off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a command decision to get a new thermostat housing cover piece and replace the one that's on here with a new unit. Now that sounds like that's easy to do, but the thermostats inside these thermostat housings have a tendency to not want to stay in place as the new housing is being bolted down, and that can cause a leak because the cover doesn't seal correctly. So a person has to be fairly careful. Nonetheless, it's what I'm going to be doing. It'll delay the project by 1 or 2 days, depending on how fast I can get the new cover, but I feel it's worth it. I don't want to have problems with leaks or seeping of coolant back there. It's avoidable.